channel, please subscribe, please hit like, and thanks for all the comments on my video about my videos. So I spent a lot of time this weekend just reorganizing my videos. So if you go to my main page, you'll see them by category. So I actually have a video category called lathe work. I think it's called lathe work. So you can go to that category and actually find all the videos, or most of the videos on lathe work. So now I have 1,333 videos, I believe, 34 after this one. That's a lot of videos. So I've got videos on close-up magic, I've got videos on music as well, and I've got videos on simulation. Those are the ones that are above and beyond this, and plus I have some funny stuff I think in there. But I've mainly categorized the top 10 or 9 categories are all watchmaking. So for the watchmakers out there. So thanks a lot, and thanks for following my videos and my chatting about all kinds of stuff I tell you. So here is the crystal for the 133.8 bumper movement, and this is the Zenith, Z-E-N-I-T-H, and if you're in the US it's Z-E-N-I-T-H. So Z-E-N-I-T-H, that's right. So Zenith, like, I'm not sure if it's the same company that used to make TVs back in the days. You can let me know if it's the same TV company. Anyway, it had an acrylic crystal in it, and the main problem with this acrylic crystal that the owner told me about was it's cracked. So there's a crack on the side of that acrylic crystal that cannot be repaired. So I have tons of crystals, so I'm going to go hunting for the appropriate crystal. This one is slightly domed, and I'm not sure if it needs to be domed that much for the hands to be clear. You just want to make sure when you install the crystal on the watch that the hands are clear to move. I've had watches where the second or the minute hand swiping around would actually hit the hour hand because they weren't put on properly, right? The hour hand was a bit too high, or the minute hand was a bit too low, and they'd touch each other and the watch would stop. I've had watches where the hour hand was too low and it would hit the seconds hand because either the seconds hand was too high, and it was mainly on a pocket watch or a very old vintage watch where they had sweep second hands that were kind of in their own little dial, sub-dial. Or I've had the hour hand being a bit too low and touched the second hand, and as I've shown you in many videos, when I put the watch hands back on, I make sure that I have got hour second hand clearance first before I put the minute hand on. I make sure the hour hand is down enough on the hour hand wheel so that I could have enough real estate to actually put the minute hand on. So that's very important too. So putting the hands on is a tricky thing sometimes. You just get used to it and you get good at it after a long time. But sizing the crystal is important, and whether it's a hunter kind of watch with a lid on it, or it's just a basic pocket watch that's got the crystal goes on the top, no issue, or you have this watch, right, where I need to make sure there's at least enough clearance in there for the watch hands to go around, and I'd like to replace this with an acrylic crystal so I can glue that in too. So I'm going to be doing some crystal hunting here by size. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the crystal. Now the gauge I use for measuring the crystal is this gauge here. And this gauge is pretty cheap. I think you can get this online, and I keep my battery out of it so my battery will last a long time. And all you do here is you take your battery out. See if I can successfully do this. Make sure it's in the right direction. It's plopped in like that, and the gauge turns on. And you don't need a super precise gauge for measuring a crystal, only because once you get that size, unless you're ordering one, right? I have crystals, so I'll be test fitting them all. So basically, I do things in millimeters because watchmaking is fundamentally in millimeters. I do this and I zero it out like that. And then I want to measure the size of this crystal. So I take the crystal in my hand. This is the old one. And I just squish it in there and have a little measurement on that. And the measurement is 31.2. That's it. That's the first measurement. Go back down to nothing again. Make sure it's zeroed out, and it is. Open it up again. Rotate the crystal. You know the old measure once, measure twice, cut once. This is 31. So if I've got 31 over here, then I'm going to do this again. It's a little bit, there we go. We're still at 0, and raise it up again. And what do I have? So I've got a diameter of 31.1. Let me see, kind of fell out of play there. So I think I've got 31.1 again. I can pull it in just a bit to get 31. So it's probably 31.1 without any pressure, or maybe it's 31. So 31 seems to be the measurement in all kinds of different directions. And you want to measure it in different diameters, because you may not have the actual pure center of that crystal right in the middle there as in your measurement. So there's 31, 31.1. So 31.1 or 31. That's my measurement. So you want to write that down or just remember it if you're smart enough, and that's good enough. I can also measure the watch on the inside. So I would do that, but right now I've got the watch in an ultrasonic cleaner. So I've got the case right now in an ultrasonic cleaner, and there's a pile of dirt coming out. So it's the case and the strap, and there's like 1,000 years of crap coming out of that case. So I do that, then I take out the battery like this and put the battery back in underneath the rubber band there. Sometimes I have to replace that rubber band because it gets old, like me. So today I've got the grandkids over because my son's doing some moving stuff, and my wife has got them working, and they're good at working. So got them watering flowers and doing other stuff like that. So it's 2 girls, 6, almost 7, and 10. So it's pretty cool. And Grandpa's up doing watch stuff. Where's Grandpa? That's what will probably happen in another 10 minutes. So if you hear some squeaky voices, that's the grandkids. So they're good victims for my close-up magic, by the way. And on the 13th, I'm in Toronto, and I'm giving a lecture to magicians. And there's 400 magicians going to be showing up at this lecture, and I'll have probably about 30 surrounding me, and there'll be a lecture on close-up magic. So I do card magic, coin magic, ring and string magic, and other crazy things that will astound you, right? You'll be astounded by it. So that's one of my other hobbies I've done for many, many years since I was a little kid and was fooled by my dad. So that's going to happen on the 13th. So anyway, so this is the measuring technique. So what was that? 31.1. Test my memory. So let's get into these crystals I got actually in Canada, up here in Canada, in Moncton, New Brunswick, I think, from this watch time store, and I only paid like $60 for this amazing gold, Jerry, this amazing lot of crystals, and they're good. And there's a lot of flat crystals that I could put in a hunter. Hunter doesn't necessarily mean it has a lid on it, by the way, but a movement with a lid on it, where the crystal has to be really low for the lid to actually slam shut. Those are hard to find. So anyway, this is my group of crystals. So I want to find a 31.1 or a 31 in here. See if I've got one with enough of a dome in there that it's going to clear that. But again, I'm not sure how much of a dome I really need, but I do need a bit of a dome. So here I've got a whack of crystals, and these are high dome crystals, and they're Stella crystals. Stella! No, was that? I can't remember what that was. Jackie Gleason? Stella! I guess she made crystals on the side. Eh? So 31 would be the measurement, but the way that they measure these things, I think that this would be 16.3 or 163. So these are pretty small crystals. So I don't think I'm going to get anything in here that's going to help me. These are a whole whack of 163s, high dome crystal, 5 3/4 inch. 5 3/4 inch. That's 5 3/4 millimeters, I think. And that's probably the dome going up. So these crystals for me, for this particular job, are going to be completely useless. I have another lot of crystals beside these ones. I'll show you those in a second. But crystal hunting can take a while, or you can just reach in and grab the right one right away. I've done that before and for pocket watches, and I found it amazing. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm going to spend like 2 hours finding the right crystal here. And then I reach in and I grab the right one. It fits perfect. I'm like, I look up and go, ah. All right, that was a holy moment. So here, I'm saying 31. And if I look down in my box here, I've got crystals all measured here up to 40 and 36, and oh my god, there's like tons of them in here, and 36, and these ones are backwards, so I can't tell the size. So let me flip these around, unless they're all backwards. Flip those around, and there's 20, 25, 31. There's a 31. and 31.5. All right. Now I don't know what these look like, so I'm going to have to look inside here and see if these are in fact 31.5s. They don't look like it. Look how small those are. And compared to the other crystal, look at that. So this measurement of 315 is not my 31.5, but if I look down in the pack right here, it says 25.5 millimeters. So that's just a code number for this particular company, but the crystal type is right. So that's a 25, basically 25 millimeter crystal going in there. So I've got to find something that would be more akin to the size I'm looking for, which would be, there's a 27.5. That's close. These are all put in there backwards, I think. Maybe I'm, you know what? I think I'm an idiot. I think if I turn this box around, everything works. Look at that! What an idiot. That's pretty funny. I think about it, right? Luckily I didn't do this for an hour. Keep turning crap around. So it's a moment of sheer stupidity. So if I look down again at these things, and I'm looking for 31, I got 30, I got 20, 26, 28.5. See, it's pretty close. But I might get to the end of these types and not get to 31 here at all. There's still 28.5. And crystal hunting we will go. Crystal hunting we will go. Crystal hunting we will go. These are the Hunter case flat crystals. So these are super flat, and these are the right size, but you know, these are like pretty thin. If I look at one of these here just quickly while I'm out here, there's what they look like. And those are super thin crystals, and that's for Hunter cases, which they're so hard to get a hold of. So I'm glad I have these. And these are GS Flexo crystals, but they also feel super flat as well. Let me see what it says. GS Flexo crystals, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. No, it's not saying anything smart here. So. But I'm still looking for 31.5. But these are all the Hunter case ones. It says hunting case only for these. So as you can see on the top, hunting case only is really good if you're looking for a hunting case crystal. More hunting case crystals. Look at that. Those are 41.2 millimeter hunting case crystals. Those are so hard to get hold of. If you don't realize that now, you got to realize it. So these are all my hunting case crystals. So they're not going to help me at all. There's a bunch down here that are small, I think, pretty small. And the sizes are small here. I'm looking at them. 164. Yeah, there's nothing here that'll help me. So I just jam those in backwards. Now let's get on to these ones here and see what sizes I have here. So 45. Yeah, these are massive. These are massive crystals. They would be nice, but they're too big. And they're going up to like 54, 53. Those are huge crystals. Low dome. Let me show you what that looks like. 52.5 low dome crystal. Grab in here and grab that crystal. And that's what that looks like. That's a beautiful crystal though. Right? So I'll have an application for that in the future, but right now, not so much. Not so much. That's a 52.5, and it's just getting bigger here. Getting bigger. 47, 52, 48. These are all low dome crystals. This is 49. And these are low dome as well. For pocket watches. No, I need a watch crystal here. So just keep hunting. These are pocket watch crystal here. Micron, flat round, 72 millimeters. Oh my God. Look at the size of this baby. That is huge. That was for the world's biggest watch. So start over here again. I got 42, 43. I may have to go to a different pack of crystals because I think these are just going to get bigger on me. I don't think there's anything here that's going to be 30, 31. So this is big, 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 big department of big, 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 bigger, big, 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 and more big. So I can get to the end of this whole thing, and none of these are going to help me because they're all way too big. So we're going to go see if I can find more. I do have this box of crystals here, and this box has got some, I think, pretty big crystals for what I'm looking at. This is probably the the smallest I had, and these are likely used crystals, so I'm not interested in installing a crystal that I need to actually get the scratches off of. So that might not be of any use for me. That's another box of crystals. A box. That's American for box. And then I've got these ellipse crystals here. So I've got a whack of these things here, but they're like too small and they're fancy. So these crystals here are, look at that, little dome fancy type crystals. So I've got a box here of crystals. So these aren't going to help me. So I've got to go to my secondary crystal source. I'll be right back. Alright, I got more crystals here. I'm not sure whether these crystals at all will work. I think they're glass. I can't remember whether there's any crystals in there that would be the right size. They could just be piles of crystals. Yeah, so these are all glass crystals. There may be some that are smaller, but they probably won't fit because the requirement to have the dome. So even though these crystals are of all different sizes, the dome requirement is going to kill me here, and it won't work. So these are great for like European watches and pocket watches, perhaps, but not for this particular problem. And these crystals from a company called From Another Time, also flat crystals. There's no high dome things in here at all. They're European crystals, so they're not going to help me at all. So here I have a pile of crystals here, and they are all kinds of sizes, but they're really not domed. Even if I might find the right size crystal here, I've got the dome problem with these crystals, so they're not probably going to work. Now in this pile of crystals here, I did find one here. It's a glass crystal. It's almost the right size, and I could try to fit that, but I doubt if that would work. But I've got these small crystals I could try out. Now the problem here, I've got the watch now, the movement, so I took the actual movement out of the ultrasonic cleaner. This thing looks really nice now because it's been through the ultrasonic cleaner and it had piles and piles of dirt on it. So let me get some wash paper out to gather the water. So this will gather a bit of the water, but as you can see, there's still some dirt left over from the actual ultrasonic cleaner. So I need to dry this off, and I need to maybe rinse it off a bit more before I use it. But if I look at this just quickly, I don't want to get dirt on my mat here, but this crystal is the one I looked at before, and it just falls right through. So it's not the right size, so this is not going to work. And this is a bag of really small vintage watch crystals, so this is not going to work. So another hunt has revealed yet another box full of watch crystals. I have more parts than RoboCop. So here's another box full of watch crystals. Let me have a look in this box and see what I got. And they're all sized nicely. So crystals for watches, 29.5. So if I go to 31, I got 31 right here. And what is in there? Nothing. So I got 31.2 and 30.6. So 30.6 I've got, and it's broken on both sides. So let me just reach in the side here. That says it's 30.6. Not sure whether it is 30.6, but if I look at this here, it looks a little smaller than that. Or maybe it's not. So if I think not. Yeah, these are acrylic. But are they domed high enough? So I go like this and put that in there and see what that looks like. That's friggin' close. A little bit of rotation there. It's a low dome, so it would look like that, which is nice actually. So that's a 30.6. It's not a 31. And I've got a 31.2. So that's the 30.6, a 31.2. And a 31, there's nothing in it, and a 31.4. So why would there be missing a 30? There's a 30.4 with a whole bunch of them in there. So I'm not sure whether they just made a mistake and put one of the 31s in there. No, these are all 30.4s. 30.4. Why would the one I need be missing? Huh? Why? 31.2. So I think 31.2 is probably the closest that I have. And let's see if 31.2 fits in there. It's a little bit of a dome on that, right? And I really don't know whether this fits in there at all. So let me see. Man, that is so close. I may be able to compress that to size when you install the crystal. So, because it's really close, and sometimes you can compress it with my installation. So we'll have to try that because this is so close here. I don't think I can shave. I maybe be able to put this on my lathe and just use a piece of sandpaper and shave a bit off. But that's a 31.2. So that's the closest so far. And of course, the one I wanted isn't in here. There's a 30.6. So that's even closer. 31.6, 31, 32, 32, 34, 33. So 30.6. I've got that as well. Let me see what that looks like here, or how that feels in here. And again, I don't know whether the hands will clear with a crystal this low. So it's a matter of trying that out and see if that'll work. So that fits, but it's a little bit loose. As you can see, I'd rather compress the acrylic one in than try to glue this in a little bit too loose, right? You don't want to do that. So 30.6, 30.4, 30.6, and I'll just put the 31.2 in there. 31.2. And again, I'm not sure if these crystals have the right dome, so let me just reach over for yet another box. The man of many crystals. So there's 33, 32, 32, 32, 33, 31 and a half. I wonder if there's a 31 in here. 31 and a half. 31. So there's a 31. Step for easy fitting. It's a GS crystal, and it looks like it might be a high dome as well. This might be the crystal, folks. This could be the one. Let me pull that out, and there it is. And that actually looks exactly like the other one. Look at this. That's pretty close. So if this is the right size, this could be the beast. So let me see if that fits in here as a 31. It looks a bit too big. Yeah, that's amazing, the measurement of these crystals. So that as a 31. Oh, it says 32.3 in the side here, even though it says a PhD 31. So obviously whoever measured this does not have a PhD. Let me put that back here. Of course, I should be reading the instructions. So I want a 30, I want a 31. These are all high dome, which is really nice. And I don't know the size of this one. 134, 29. Is that 31.4? Let's take it out for a second and have a look. These are all high dome though, so see that? High dome. So this is perfect. Oh man, that is so close. So close. Look at that fit. It's so close. I could probably compress that in. That is super close. So let's try again. So that's 31.4. I need 31. Come on, Jerry, you can do it. There's 31 and a half, which is 32 millimeters. Stella. This is 31.7, 30. It never tells you what. I'm not sure if that's 30 or 31 point whatever or what. Let me try this one here. But they're the right dome, which is perfect. You put that in and see what I got. Oh, that's way too big. So that in fact is the 31.7. So even though it says 31.7 on the side, but then it says 30 here, you guys can tell me what that means. So let's just keep drilling down here. There's 30.8 and 31.1. So 30.8, 30.8, and 31.1. So let me try 31.1. Cross your fingers. 31.1. Is this the winner? Can I compress this in? Is this a good one? I think this could be the one. And let me see. Done. So we look around here at the edges. Yeah, so that is compressed in. So that looks really good. That is the right size. Now, this one here looks about as tall as that one was, right? So let me measure the height of these. But this one looks about as tall as the other one was, and that fits in nicely, and that'll look really good on this watch. So this is the right size. So given that it's the right size, I don't want to use my fingers on this to pop it back out again. Let me just take this out, and I want to measure the height of these crystals. I just want to look at them and eyeball them to see if it's... Yeah, if you look at the sides here of these crystals, this is the old one over here, and that's the new one. The new one is actually slightly lower than the old one, just ever so slightly, but look at that. That is pretty good. And I bet you any money the hands will easily fit under there without a problem. So I think I found myself a crystal. And this crystal fits in nice without gluing, and it's a 31.1 or 311, so 31.1. So that was one of my measurements, if you recall, was 31.1. So I can take that one and let me see if I've got any more that I want to look at. That's a 30.8. I'll look at the 31.8 for a second, just for the halibut, and see what the fit is on this one here, and see if it just slides into place. And it kind of does, actually. Okay, that's sliding in, but there's a bit of side shake. So obviously it's too small, just a bit, but the other one was absolutely perfect. So I've found a high dome crystal for the Zenith watch. I would say that is amazing. So that's what happens when you buy a bunch of crystals. You see, put this one back, 30.8. I'll look down here and see if there's any other nonsense here. So 28, 20, whatever. These are all nicely sized too, 28. These are smaller crystals, 25. Yeah, they go all the way down to 19 millimeters. So that is, I would call that a win, an absolute win. So I found the right crystal for this watch. It's going to look beautiful when this crystal is installed properly. I can get rid of this thing here. This is a different crystal altogether, but I'll just throw that in the back end of this pack here. And so these crystals here were all high domed watch crystals, and they're round, and didn't even know I had this bunch of crystals. But this is getting your supplies, making sure you've got plenty of supplies for your watch parts for doing watchmaking. This is an absolute gem of a crystal. It's actually back in the pack here. I don't want to mix it up with the old one, but it's back in the pack here, and it's a Stella crystal, high dome. And it is waterproof. Of course it's waterproof, it's acrylic, and it is this crystal. So that is my crystal hunting video for today, and I was able to find a crystal for this beautiful Zenith watch, and this Zenith watch has gone through the ultrasonic cleaner, and an amazing amount of dirt was in the bottom of that ultrasonic cleaner. I should have shown you what it looks like, but amazing amount of dirt. So what I don't want to do here is polish this at all, even though it's gold, because the owner would likely want the scratches, any scratches, imperfections to still be there, but it's clean now. So that's good. So now all I have to do is case the movement, and install the crystal. So we can do that. I'll do the crystal installation as a different video. This is the hunting, I tell you. So thanks a lot for tuning into my video. This is a long one, but this is the kind of stuff you need to do in watchmaking when you hunt down a crystal. Size it properly, make sure it's the right depth, and there's clearance for the hands. That's so important when you're doing this.